Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Overwatch video, and in today's video we are taking a look at the brand new tank hero, Orisa. She is currently live in the PTR, they also dropped a developer update today, and her origin story trailer, both of which I will link down below if you guys want to check them out. But she is currently playable, so what I decided to do was jump in the PTR, mess around with her in training mode. There's not really much gameplay besides that, because at the moment the servers are under a lot of stress, so it's very, very difficult to get into a game. I spent far too long trying to load into a match, so I thought, you know what, for the time being, let me just show you guys how the character works. So if you do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions, and also at the end of the video, I will show you all the customization options, so you can basically get a good idea for what this character can do, what this character looks like, and everything like that. So, firstly, turning our attention to her moves. Her main weapon, her left click, her primary fire is the Fusion Driver. This is an automatic projectile weapon. It is effectively a machine gun, and when you are firing it, it slows you down. So to give you guys an idea, this is normal walking speed, and the second you start firing, you are slowed down. It's got pretty good range, so of course this is your penalty for being able to fire at that range. In fact, during the developer update, Jeff Kaplan said that in terms of range, she is probably now the tank with the furthest firing range. The only person kind of on par with that would be Zarya's secondary fire mode. That is probably equal distance. But either way, that is her primary weapon. As for her alternate fire, this is rather interesting. This is Halt. Basically, you launch out a graviton charge with your secondary fire button, and you then detonate it with the same button, and then this pulls people in the vicinity into that orb. So think of it like Zarya's ult, but a very small, much more condensed version that you can use a lot more frequently. It can be used to pull people around corners. It can also be used to pull people off of maps. So if you throw it behind them, and you then pull it forward, it doesn't have quite as big a range, so you do need to kind of use it within the appropriate proximity, but you can see when you fire it out, there is sort of like a little beam that connects to people, so you have an idea as to whether they are in range. This can also be used to pull multiple targets together, so part of the reason behind this is because Orisa was designed to be one of those anchor tanks. They said they wanted her to perform in a similar way to Reinhardt, in that people group up behind her, and there's a lot more focus on her being like this big impenetrable wall that can effectively move forward with the team, as opposed to, say, some of the more disruptor tanks like D.Va and Winston. So with that being said, one of the useful things that you can do with her is, of course, if you want to pull people together to condense them down, then if you have people like Widowmaker or Hanzo, they can then focus on the point that you're going to pull them to and then get some good critical shots. So that is something to consider, but again, pulling people around corner, reposition them, basically getting them where you want them so you can then deal some serious damage. After that, your E is the protective barrier. This allows you to throw out a device that creates a barrier. Same sort of thing, you can shoot through it, enemies can't shoot back through it, unless of course it's people like Symmetra or Reinhardt's Fire Strike, etc. But this is effectively a barrier that goes wherever you are aiming, so you can look on the floor, you can throw it in front of people, so it doesn't just have to go in front of you. It can go to the side, it can go behind you. If you see someone in trouble, you can throw it at them. So it allows you to basically put up a wall at a location that you designate. And then finally, for the general abilities, you also have Fortified. This reduces your damage taken, and it also makes it so that you can't be stopped. So examples they gave, again, during the developer update, is that if you're in some of the situations where, say, you're on a bridge, and someone might push you off, if you are in the Fortify mode, then you can't actually be moved. So this, of course, can be very useful if you want to make a push forward, because you can still move whilst in this mode, but it makes you a much more threatening force. It makes you a much harder target to kind of get rid of. And of course, if you pair that with barriers, and you pair it with your ult, then you're actually going to have a rather interesting setup. And speaking of which, your ult or your ultimate is Supercharger. This deploys a device that increases the damage inflicted by all of your allies within line of sight. You basically put down this beacon. This is the thing that's on your back, so you take it off your back, you stand it down, looks kind of like a drum in that respect, and it has these sort of laser beams that connect to everyone that is in line of sight. Everybody that is connected to this gets increased damage, but it's important to realise that this is line of sight and not area of effect. So if you are within the vicinity but there is something blocking you, whether that be a crate, a door, or a wall, then you won't be able to benefit from this, so you do need to stay in the vicinity. So again, going back to Orisa being an anchor tank, you could then put down a shield, have people group up behind you, use your Halt to lock people in place, to pull them in together, and then put down your Supercharger so that everybody can get a damage boost, and you can then dish out some pretty serious damage. So that is a very quick overview of her abilities. I will be following up over the weekend with a more detailed character breakdown to show you guys some of the damage values and some of the slightly more in-depth things once I do have a chance to test her out in full, actually in, games and whatnot, once the PTR is actually able to hold up and let me play a match. But for the time being, that was a look at her abilities. So, after that, we're then going to jump over to her customization options. I'm largely going to let you guys watch these out, but a few things I do want to talk about are the skins themselves. I actually really like some of the latter ones. The early ones, in truth, I'm not a huge fan of her design. I think it's a little bit weird. It's definitely different. It's something we haven't necessarily seen before, but it's not necessarily a design that I'm particularly a huge fan of. But, you know, that's just me, personal preference and whatnot. But I do like some of the rarer skins because one of them actually looks like a sort of beetle, and that looks like some kind of Kamen Rider style mech. So that is super cool. I definitely like that. And also some of the weapons that go alongside that also look pretty sweet. So, I'll leave you with this, and what I might also do at the end is give you guys a little bit of gameplay just from 269's stream. I didn't actually have a chance to go hands-on, but 26 was streaming for a little bit. He did get a chance to jump into a game before the server started going down, so if you guys do want to see a little bit of her in gameplay, then I'll also put that at the end. So enjoy the rest of this video, thank you for watching, keep it locked for more, and take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.
I'm simply following my programming.